Hi, I'm Amy Mahaly with Be Well Clinic, and today we're going to talk about another way to reduce your general toxic load, and that is by doing different things with your laundry. Laundry can be a huge source of toxicity for our bodies because the clothes we wear are with us constantly. The sheets you sleep on are with you constantly. And if we have chemicals or artificial scents in those things, it actually can bring a lot of toxicity to our bodies that our body has to constantly deal with. We're just going to talk about some things that I have learned and implemented, and other things I don't currently do that you may want to implement about doing your laundry. So, the first thing is there is chlorine in the city water that you are using, most likely, and chlorine can be a fume chemical that is affecting your body. If you have a lot of chlorine in your clothes, you may actually even get your clothes breaking down. I moved into this house and the chlorine was much higher and I was getting holes into my clothes. So I found and researched that you can get RV chlorine filters, and that's what I have here on the washer right here. It's really simple. You just change it out after a certain number of months and it takes the chlorine out of the water. I only have it hooked up to the cold because that's what I'm using, but you can find if there are ones rated for certain degrees of hot as well. The second thing to consider is to have a top-loading washer instead of a front-loading washer. There's a couple reasons for this. The first one is that front-loading washers tend to have mildew. It's almost impossible to let them dry out all the way, and we don't want to be adding any kind of mold fungus to our bodies because that definitely will cause our bodies to have to work and detox harder. You also can use different detergents when you have a top loader than when you have a front loader. There is a really cool thing called soap nuts that I did for a while and liked. These are, especially if you're very sensitive or want to avoid all chemicals, they are natural nuts from trees that you suds up and pour into the top loader to wash your clothes with. Really cool. They actually work pretty well, and that can be an option for you. The option that I'm currently using is actually using doTERRA laundry detergent. I like this a lot, mostly because it's an enzymatic detergent. There are a lot of things that we get on our clothes as we eat the delicious fatty foods that we eat, but grease and oils and fats on our clothes can be hard to get out. But they really are not difficult with the doTERRA detergent. So I'd recommend getting an enzymatic detergent of some kind for at least treating your clothes sometimes, even if you use a different brand for washing your clothes in general. It is really good and important to find a brand that doesn't have fragrances, even natural fragrances, so that our olfactory system is not getting inundated with scents all the time. This allows our brain to be resting a little bit. It also allows us to smell things properly, which allows us to eat our food and make better food choices than if we have our olfactories a little tuned out because we're overwhelmed by scents around us. So it's actually really good to keep those scents out, even if they're natural, as much as possible. If you do use a scent, using pure therapeutic essential oils would be really great. Things like doTERRA, Young Living, ones that are therapeutic grade. We do want to and can use those things to help our clothes smell better, both in the washer. You can see I have Purify as well as white vinegar. It's beautiful. Don't ever underestimate that as a tool to get the scents out of your clothes. And if you do happen to use a dryer, you can add those essential oils to a dryer ball to put in with your clothes to keep them soft. I definitely recommend never using dryer sheets. They're one of the most problematic things when we're doing laundry in terms of adding toxins to our body. So it is good to avoid all dryer sheets, but you can scent your clothes with therapeutic essential oils with a dryer ball if you really need that. Also remember, getting your scents to be more neutral is actually much better for your brain and your whole nervous system to not be overwhelmed with things. You can also not have a dryer. As you see, I don't have a dryer. This is actually a freezer. My clothes are on a rack, and I either will put them in a room or outside if the weather's nice, and having those sun-dried clothes is really nice. Even if you don't have the access to a clothesline that's permanent, which I don't, you can have temporary things that can help you dry your clothes. I hope this is all helpful tips for you for learning how to reduce your general toxic load related to washing and drying and laundering your clothes.